Hey everyone, it's Noah here, and this will be the full roofing Google Ads Masterclass for 2025 and 2026. So in this video, I will really be going in depth on how Google ad campaigns work for roofing, what results you can expect in the first couple months, or if you're just launching the campaign, and then most importantly, how to actually build the campaign, how to do the keyword research, and just step by step, even if you're a complete beginner, how to just create your first Google Ads campaign from scratch, even if you're a roofer and you want to do it yourself. So this video will give you clarity on everything that you need to know about Google Ads, so you can either build out your own first campaign, or if you're looking for a marketer to do it for you, you at least know exactly what to expect and how the process works. And before we get started, so some context on myself. My name is Noah, and I've been working with roofing contractors for the past 4 years. At the moment, I'm working with 25 roofing contractors across the US, and we're running Facebook, social media ads for them, Google ads for them, pretty much any marketing that you can think of. So full transparency, if you need help with anything marketing related, you can book a call with me personally down below and we can have a chat about it. And the reason I'm recording all this free content and putting all this content out is because I want to gain your trust by providing value. That being said, you don't have to reach out to me. You can do everything yourself and just take the value that I'm giving you. But if you want to save time and money, feel free to reach out down below. So let's get started. What are we going to cover? First of all, we're going to talk about Google ads versus Facebook ads. I've been posting content on my YouTube channel about roofing marketing for the past 1 or 2 years, talking a lot about Facebook ads, social media ads. This is usually what I start off with when I start working with the company, because Facebook and social media ads will usually just get you a much quicker return. But when you look in long term, you just don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So it's very good to add platforms like Google to bring in more consistency and just split up the traffic between social media channels and Google. And both of them have their own unique advantages. And I want to walk you through how that looks like number wise, why one is different than the other one. So you just know exactly what the differences are and you can decide what would probably make more sense for your business at the moment. Then I want to walk you through how Google ads actually work. So how do they look like? How do they work? And then also the different campaign types, because there are a lot of different ones that have different mechanisms. So you eventually know what campaign type to actually choose for your first Google ads campaign. And then, as I said, I will give you a complete walkthrough on how to actually build your first campaign, all the settings, what you need to do, how to actually create the campaign. Then I will also talk about keyword research and negative keyword research. So how do you find the best possible keywords to rank for to get the best results for roofing specifically. Then I will also talk about the landing page. So the landing page would be the website that you redirect the ad traffic to, and also how to optimize the campaign long term. So obviously if you launch the campaign, you will have to optimize the keywords and the campaign to make sure it keeps performing good and also improves. And then last but not least, what results to expect looking at the first 1 to 3 months, just so you know like what budget you would need when going into this and what you can expect. So first of all, Facebook versus Google. So let's start with Facebook on the left right here. Obviously you need ads. So that's a big difference between Facebook and Google. With Facebook, you actually need images, videos, in general, just content. So ads that you can put out there that people see, that catches people's attention. While on Google, it's more like people search a search term and your company or your website pops up at the very top for the roofing. So that's like the main difference between the two. So with Facebook, you will have to create the ads, which can be a bit difficult if you don't exactly know what you're doing, because there's a lot of companies on Facebook and you really want to differentiate yourself, because when people are scrolling through their feed and they see a bunch of roofing ads, then your ad needs to be different, and at the same time it needs to be catchy enough and good enough for people to click on it, sign up, and actually attract high quality leads. While with Google, it's pretty straightforward. You just rank for keywords and people find your business, call you, or sign up with you. Now, that being said, with Facebook, there are faster results though, because it's on social media and you just generally get clicks for a bit cheaper and you can get results pretty fast. Like you can launch a Facebook ad campaign, especially if you have a marketer or if you have proven ads that used to work in the past and you have good targeting, you can get results within the first week. Like you launch a campaign, first day you immediately start receiving leads, first week you immediately start receiving your first appointment, and you can close your first couple of jobs within the first 30 days for sure. While with Google, it can be a bit more long term. I'm not saying that you can't get an ROI within the first 30 days and close a couple jobs within the first month, but generally it takes a bit more time to pick up, especially if we're talking about PPC, so search campaign ads. You usually need a higher budget, and then Google usually needs a certain amount of conversions for it to really start to pop. So I will walk you through how that looks like number-wise later on in the video, but essentially, again, it takes a while longer. You need to invest a bit more, but then it really starts popping. But then the good thing about Google is it's more consistent in the long run. So the thing is that even if it takes a month or two for it to really pick up, as soon as you have a campaign that's working with Google, you really don't need to touch it that much, and it will just continue to be working, and it will just get better and better and better. While with Facebook, it's kind of like a bit more inconsistent. So you just need to always kind of like come up with new ads, change things, play around with the targeting. Of course, if you end up having a lot of data after a couple of months, Facebook can also be pretty consistent. Like you have your couple campaigns that just work and they're running, but I would generally say it's still more inconsistent than Google when it comes to having to change content around and testing different various things, because the market on social media is just like shifting a lot more. Like an ad might dry out after a couple months of running it, while on Google that doesn't really happen. Now another thing for Facebook, it's really good for spontaneous storm campaigns. Like if you really just, like a storm chaser, you're looking, okay, a storm hit there, so I want to launch a quick campaign today that just targets this specific area with storm specific ads, then Facebook is usually the better way to go, just because, as I said, it just doesn't need a lot of time to pick up. So you can launch a campaign and immediately start getting results, and you can get very specific with the targeting and the ads that you're running. Well, with Google, I would rather recommend to have one campaign that you have running at all times in your relatively like broad service area. Of course, you can narrow it down and you can do campaigns or smaller separate campaigns in areas that get hit by storms often. But generally saying with Facebook, you can do more of those spontaneous campaigns where you just set them up overnight and just launch them to get results from a recent storm that hit. So it has very good geo-targeting options as well. Like you can get very specific when it comes to zip codes. Google has that as well, but I would say on Facebook it's a bit more effective. Like on Google, I would rather go broad and put counties and cities in there, while on Facebook you can even go as narrow as zip codes. So those are pretty much the differences between the two. Now, to kind of like visualize this and obviously talk about the numbers, I kind of like have a graphic right here. So this is all obviously theoretical. Like it won't always be this exact same way, but I want you to understand how it would technically end up being number-wise. So let's say you invest $1,000 into Google Ads and your cost per lead will be $100, because on Google usually you're paying a bit more for a lead. Like the CPL will be higher than on Facebook. So you get 10 leads out of the $1,000. And then out of those 10 leads, the quality on Google is usually a bit better. So you might get 8 that are actually, qualified ones that you can actually book in. And maybe not everybody shows. Some people are not really qualified and you end up closing 3. While on Facebook, it's the exact same thing. So you essentially spend $1,000, but you might get 20 leads, because the average cost per lead on Facebook, at least with how we're doing things, is about $50 when it comes to roofing. But at the end of the day, those leads are a lot of the times on social media a bit lower quality, so there might be more people that just don't respond for whatever reason or are just not super qualified. So you end up getting maybe the same amount of appointments and closes. So that's why I'm saying, like, it's not like one platform is necessarily better than the other. Like, bottom line, once both of the campaigns are up and running, you will get similar results in terms of cost per acquisition. That's why both platforms are great, and you can't really say that one is better than the other, as long as you do things right. But the key thing is that they're fundamentally different, and the expectations when starting off need to be very different. And I would say long term, it will be the best move to have both running, because they actually work together very well. And that ties back to saying, okay, I don't want all my eggs to be in one basket, because sometimes, when the Facebook campaign dries out for whatever reason, your whole acquisition channel dies. And the same thing goes for Google. So having both live at the same time is probably the best thing to do. Another reason for that is because the data that you get on Facebook will also favor the Google Ads campaign and the other way around. Because on your website, essentially on your landing page and on all your different things that you have online, you will install your Facebook pixel as well as your Google tag. Now, again, the Google tag is the equivalent to the Facebook pixel, and this is just a piece of code that you can install on your website that allows you to track page views, leads, traffic. So if you do that, then the key thing will be that the traffic that you get, for example, from the Google Ads to your website can also be used by the Facebook algorithm to find the right people. And again, the other way around. So just having everything set up and having all the data flowing in and having both of the platforms work together will eventually be the most effective strategy. But that being said, I would still recommend to just take all your budget and put it into one platform to start off. And then you get that working, and later on you can add the second platform. Now, how do Google Ads actually work before we go into the actual live campaign build? Essentially, there are a couple things that you need to know. So with Google Ads, as I said, it's keyword based. So you don't have ads necessarily in that sense. Like, you don't necessarily have images and videos. You can. I will walk you through the campaign types. There's obviously like YouTube campaigns, performance max campaigns where you can upload images and videos, but it's mainly going to be based around headlines and keywords. So to give you an idea, like on the left right here, you can see it's a list of keywords. So it says like roof damage, hail damage roofing, it says storm damage roofing. So this would be a classic example of a storm damage roofing campaign on Google, like an ad group that's specifically for storm damage. So every time in your local area when somebody's has storm damage and they're searching for keywords like, okay, storm damage inspection or something like that, because they're looking for it, then your ad should pop up at the top. Now, as you can see, some of the keywords are like in brackets, and some of them have like quotations, and I will walk you like through the difference between those later on in the video in more detail. But essentially what this means is there are different types of keywords. For example, when you put them in brackets, that's called an exact match, meaning that when somebody searches what you can see right here, hail damage roof repair near me, like exactly word for word that, then your ad will pop up. While with the phrase match, it's a bit more broad. So when somebody, for example, searches a sentence that just has the same content or means the same thing as, for example, hail damage roofing, but the wording is slightly different, then your ad will still pop up. And again, I will walk you through that in more in-depth later on in the video. But the key thing, you just need to have a good keyword list that with keywords that have enough traffic and that have a high intent, so you actually get good traffic of people who are actively looking for a roof. And then the next thing are going to be the headlines. So that's what you can see right here in the middle. Essentially how your ad will be structured is you will have headlines. So on the right, you can see an example of how the ad will end up looking. So it pops up at the very top when somebody searches. And right here, you obviously have your company name, you have your logo. And then here you have a link that takes them to your landing page. And you have a little text down below, which is the description. So essentially the headlines and the descriptions that you will put in the ad will show in here. And it will essentially take those and combine those and create like variations of them. So the key thing is that you make those headlines and words specific to the keywords that you're targeting. And this is why you split up the ad groups, which I will again show you in the campaign build walkthrough. But for example, right here, you can see it's a very storm damage focused ad group. So all the keywords that are in here are very focused around storm damage and stuff like that. So we would want the keywords that are in here also focused around storm damage, insurance claims, hail damage experts, and that kind of like stuff. So when you look at the ad, it will kind of like, again, be totally like focused on that. I think this ad example that I have right here is more of like a roof repair thing. So it's not necessarily storm damage, but it says same day roof damage fix. So it's actually pretty matching. And then at the bottom, you will also have a phone number and your address. So essentially, people will be able to directly call you from your ad, or they can click on the link and sign up on your website to reach out, and then you would essentially get your typical lead. But this is how the ad works and how it's structured. Now, relevant campaign types. There are a couple. Like, there are a lot of campaign types. I will just talk about the most relevant ones. So first one is obviously the search campaign. So pretty much exactly this right here, what I just showed you. That's a search campaign, meaning when somebody searches, your ad pops up. Then we have the performance max campaign, which is kind of like a mixture of a lot of different things. Like, this will be, if you're a beginner and if your account is fresh, this can make a lot of sense sometimes, because essentially with the performance max campaign, what you will be doing is you just upload a bunch of images, you upload a bunch of videos, headlines, and all that kind of like stuff, and you just put it all in one, and it spreads your ads across the search network, on YouTube, on Gmail, on all different platforms, and optimizes like where the conversions are going to be the best. Now, that being said, it's not necessarily always the best way to go, just because the con about this is it's really gonna take some control from you. Like, it's easier for beginners because you can just put your stuff in there. The targeting is easier because it's not like typically where you put your keyword lists in there. It's more like you have simple targeting options and segments, which I will show you. But the thing about this is you have less control about who you're targeting. So sometimes if you just don't have a lot of data in the account, what can happen is that you will just get a lot of leads that might be just maybe not really looking for a roof, and it will kind of like send you low quality traffic and target the wrong people. And then the third option would be video ads. So that would be YouTube ads, which is also part of the Google Ads network. So if you want to run strictly videos, then they would be shown on YouTube. And then the last thing, which kind of like an additional bonus, is like local service ads. You might have heard of them if you're a roofer. A lot of the roofers are running them. They're pretty easy to set up, really just a couple of clicks. We're not going to cover that in this video today because it's really pretty simple. You just need to get verified. And how it works is essentially it's really just pay per phone call. So if somebody calls your business, then you're being charged, and if it's not a valid call, you're getting your money back. Now, that's obviously a good thing, but at the same time, it's not super scalable. So usually you launch it and you get a couple calls every now and then, but you can't really control how much you're actually getting. And yeah, but it's still a good thing to set up. Like, I would totally have it running if you can. Again, maybe I will record a video on that in the future. Today, I'm mainly going to focus around those, and actually specifically the search campaign, because if you're starting off, I would recommend to do a search campaign. I will not talk about YouTube ads today. I will probably create a separate video for that, because YouTube ads can be great if you really have good quality content, but it would be too much to cover in this video. So I'm just going to focus on mainly search campaigns and a bit of PMAX. So those are the relevant campaign types. Now let's cover the campaign build walkthrough, and for this I will switch into my Google Ads account real quick. Alright, so this right here is a fresh Google Ads account. Essentially what you want to do is you want to open a new tab on Google, and you want to type in ads.google.com. And on here, you might need to log into your Google account and create a Google Ads account. And you will probably have to go through like a small verification at the beginning, just making sure that your business is legit. And then you can just click on continue, and essentially you should be in your Google Ads account. And in the beginning, by the way, there are usually some nice promotions, like spend $1,000, get $1,000, so you can get some discounts on the ads. But this is how it looks like inside the Google Ads Manager. Now, it can be a bit confusing in the beginning. Real quick, like quick walkthrough on the left side, you kind of like have your menu. So right now we're on campaigns. This is kind of like the default view where you can see all your campaigns. And then there's like a lot of stuff in here that's just not really relevant. In this video, I will just walk you through the basic stuff that you will need for just setting up a campaign and monitoring everything. But generally, we have the campaigns where it's just giving you like an overview over all the money that you spent, the leads that you got. You got some recommendations, which is not really relevant. You get insights and reports where you can actually see essentially the phone calls, for example, that you're getting from the ads will show in here. You can go on insights and can kind of like look at stuff like what keywords you're ranking for, and you have a dashboard that kind of like just gives you a general summary. Like I don't have anything in here right now because it's a fresh account, but you will have like a general dashboard that's showing you like, okay, what demographic are we targeting, like what age, more male, more female, and just stuff like that, which is a lot of the time not super relevant, but stuff like search term rankings and stuff, so you can actually see like what search terms you're ranking for, where most of the traffic is coming from, is what you will be seeing in here. Then under campaigns, you can obviously see your campaign overview, audiences and keywords. You have a couple of things right here. I just switched to another account where I have a pretty fresh campaign running right now, just because I realized that the settings are a bit different on here. I'm not sure why, because I probably didn't configure my fresh account yet, but in here we already have a couple of campaigns, as you can see, and here we have a bit more stuff. Like when I go on insights and reports, you have all this different stuff. Like right here on the search terms, you can actually see what search terms we're ranking for. So those are kind of like the search terms that you can see right here. Then you can also go on insights, and again, you have all these different data in here where you can kind of like see where the traffic's coming from, and in general just some info around the campaign. And then on the left side under goals, you will just be able to set up your conversion tracking. So this is like when you send people to your website and you want to install your tag and track the leads. So in the future I might be doing a specific video on conversion rate tracking, just walking you through how you can essentially actually track everything and set up the whole backend when it comes to also like platforms like GoHighLevel, if you've heard of that. So yeah. And then under tools, you have a couple of different things. The most important thing will be the planning. So right here, you have the keyword planner that we will go more in depth later on in the video, where I show you how to actually find keywords. And then you obviously have like stuff like billing, where you can just see all your billing settings and stuff like that. For now, we're just gonna stay at campaigns, and we're just gonna go in here. So here you can see the campaigns that we have running right now. Now let me switch to the fresh account again, just so I can show you like how we set up a campaign from scratch. So there's nothing in here. So you would just click create campaign, and then you click new campaign. Now in here, you can obviously kind of like put your business name in here. You can just put any website in here for now. It's not super important. Like for now, just put like your homepage in here. Then you can click next. And here you want to select create a campaign without guidance usually. And down below, this is the campaign types, like what I was talking about when I said campaign types. So we have the search campaign, we have the performance max, and then there's some other stuff like display, demand gen. Now video campaign would be YouTube. So again, you don't really need to worry about all of this stuff for now. Just click search campaign, and then we scroll down. Now here, that doesn't really matter. You can essentially tick both, or you just leave them off. This is something we can configure later on as well. And now when it comes to the goals we want to focus on, it's also not that important for now. This is something we can still do later on. So just leave it like that. You can give it a name. Like here under conversion goals, it's not that important for now, but just click anything that makes sense. So we're probably gonna go after leads. So you can do something like form submissions from your website, and then you just click agree and continue. And then right here, it says what you want to focus on. In the beginning, I would recommend, like if your account is super fresh, so you don't have any conversions, no data in here, it's usually better to go after clicks. So instead of going after conversions right away, like the conversions would be phone calls and leads, you want the campaign to optimize for traffic and for clicks, just because we just don't have enough data for Google to know how our conversions look like. So you start off optimizing for clicks, and then you will get a couple leads. And as soon as you have like 20 or 30 leads in the account, you have enough data to switch the bidding strategy to conversions later on, which will then optimize the campaign for actual leads. So for now, just click clicks, and then you also want to set a maximum cost per click. For now, just put it to something. I will show you like later on when it comes to the keywords how we can actually determine what our maximum cost per click should be, because we want to make sure that we're not bidding too much or not enough. So I will show you how to actually come up with the right keywords and how to set the maximum CPC in a bit. But for now, I will just set it to 20, and then we can just click next. Now on here, you want to make sure to leave this off. So it's usually on by default, but you don't necessarily want Google search partner networks or stuff like that. So just leave this off. Locations, obviously put your locations in here, so you can first of all enter another location, and then you can just put your location in here. So we can just do, I don't know, let's just do Houston. You can do include. You can even go like more narrow, and if you go on advanced search, you can actually see exactly how it looks like, and then you can zoom in. You can do like certain neighborhoods. You can get very specific. I would just recommend to leave it like that. You can also do like a radius, so you can do a radius around a certain location. So pretty much anything you can think of when it comes to the geo-targeting. I would recommend to leave it pretty broad in the beginning. Like try to have a big audience size, leave it broad instead of going too narrow. And then very important right here under location options, this is something you have to acknowledge. Like this is the difference. So it says right here, presence or interest. So people regularly in, or who've shown interest in your included location. So people who are in a totally different location outside your market who've shown interest will see the ads, and we want to avoid that. So you click only presence. So people in or regularly included in your locations, which will limit the targeting to only the people actually in your location. Now, sometimes you will still get people who are just occasionally in your market, but they live somewhere else. And this is unfortunately nothing you can avoid, but this will be the best setting you can select. Then scroll down. You can just leave this as English probably, because I guess you will be marketing in the US, so leave it in English. And then audience segments, you don't need to worry about that for now. I mean, later on we can kind of like talk about this. This is more like the targeting in terms of like apart from keywords, so the demographics. So you can essentially, how this works is you can add a segment. So you can essentially, when you click on browse, for example, like who they are, and then you can do like parental status, education, home ownership status. So you can select like homeowners right here. So there are a couple of things that I would recommend. You can even do this right now, like just maybe select homeowners. I mean, this is what we want at the end of the day. Then you can click like, you know, what their interests and habits are. I wouldn't really play around with this too much in the beginning. You can try and test this later. For now, we just want to keep it relatively broad. And then there's stuff like in market. So yeah, you can also change this whole stuff later on. So if you want like in market, meaning people who are in the market for something, you can search for something roofing related that makes sense to target. But honestly, again, I would kind of leave this broad. So definitely leave it on observation for now, because if you do targeting, then it will completely narrow your targeting down to the stuff that you set up in here. While with observation, you will essentially, Google will look at the suggestions that you give them when it comes to the targeting and the segments, but it will still also target people outside of that. And this is good in the beginning to just get more volume and more clicks, more leads. And then once again, later on, if you got a lot of conversions, you can narrow things down a lot more and test like different targeting options. For now, just keep it broad. Then let's click on more settings. Right here, ad rotation. You can, so I would definitely keep this at optimized, or prefer the best performing ads. So it will just give most of the money to the best performing ads essentially, which is the best move in the beginning. Start and end date is not super important. Ad schedule, I would probably keep this at all day. But not always actually, because especially when you're going to run call ads, so you're receiving calls from your Google ads, then I would definitely make sure that it's only your business hours in here, because if you're running ads on a Sunday and you get calls on a Sunday but there's nobody to take the calls, then that's essentially wasted money and wasted leads. So definitely make sure if you run it all day that you're always going to be available to take calls when they're coming in, and otherwise just put your best times in here. And then the rest you can pretty much leave this exactly like it is, and then you just click next. Then we got this AI Max search campaigns. I think this is fairly new, so I think you can just click next on that. And then keywords and asset generation. So this will be like regarding your final URL, meaning your landing page, your keywords. For now we can skip this. I will walk you through that in more depth in a bit here. So we just click skip for now. And then same thing goes for here. So you have the final URL, once again, you have the keywords, and then right here it wants, again, your final URL and some headlines and stuff like that. So let's just add one for now, and then we'll change that up later, because I just want to finish building the campaign, and then we can go in there later on and just make sure that everything is right, and I will show you how to set this up. So just put a couple things in the description here, then you have stuff like side links. So for now, let's just click next. And then you want to set your average daily budget. So I would recommend to probably start off at around $50 a day, and if you have more budget, definitely do 100. So 100 will probably be easier and better to get just more conversions in faster, which will just shorten the time frame until you actually get the campaign up and running properly, and it will give you more data, speed things up. So do 100 a day if you can. If you can't, do at least 50 a day. Like if your budget is less than $50 a day, then I wouldn't recommend running Google Ads in the first place, and I would rather probably recommend to go on social media, like stuff like Facebook before. But even then, $50 a day should be like the minimum that you need to be able to spend if you go into advertising. So 50 a day to 100 a day to start off with, then click next. Okay, now in here it tells us to add some keywords. So I just gotta like add some keywords real quick, just so I can for now kind of like finish this campaign build. So let's see if it works now. Okay, and then we want to give the campaign a name, so I already named it Search Campaign 1.0. Campaign type is search, goal is submit lead forms, maximize clicks. Oops. And it will kind of like just give you like an overview over everything that you've set up, and then you can just click publish campaign for now. And in here you will have to eventually also obviously add your payment method. I think Google asks you to do that immediately when you create the account. So just X out, and now in here, let me just, when you go back to, so this is your dashboard, this will show you like how much you spent, how much impressions and leads you got. It's pretty much everything that you need to know about your campaign. This will always be like the overview when you visit this page. But let's just on the left go back to campaigns, click on campaigns, and right here you will see the campaign that we just set up. Now for now I will pause it because I don't want it to spend any money right now. And yeah, so we have the campaign right here. So you can see your daily budget in here. You can see the status of the campaign. So right now it's paused. You can see general metrics like impressions, click-through rate, cost, bid strategy, just all the stuff that you pretty much need to know in the beginning. You don't really need to mess with this. Later on, you can also add your own columns. So you can click modify columns and just add your own metrics and stuff in here. But honestly, this is the most important stuff. You just want to know like, okay, are you getting clicks? How much are you spending for a click? What's your click-through rate? What's your conversions, cost per conversions, and stuff like that. So you pretty much have everything in here. Now when you click on the campaign, so you just click right here on the link, then it will take you to the ad group section. So this is similar to Facebook, if you're familiar to Facebook, where you have a campaign and then you have multiple ad sets within one campaign. And within each ad set, or in this case ad group, you can have multiple ads. So right now, let's go back to campaigns. You click on the campaign, and within here we have one ad group. Now we could essentially create unlimited ad groups, and then within each ad group, so if we click on the ad group right here, we will have our ads. So this will just show like the keywords that we just put in here. And then essentially, yeah, it will just show you the keywords. And then on the left, you can also navigate to ads, which is right here, right under ad groups. And this will actually show you like the actual ad, how it looks like. So the link, the headlines, and everything we put in here. So one more time, we go on the campaign, and we have the campaign selected at the top. We click on it, and this is our ad group. We click on it. This is our keyword list. On the left, we also have ads. All right, before we go into actually editing the ad, creating the headlines and all that stuff, we all have to do our keyword research, because this will be the foundation of everything that we build inside of the ad. So you're still in here. On the left side, you want to go to tools, and then you want to go to planning, and you want to go to the keyword planner. Now there are a couple tools out there like SEMrush and others like SEO tools that will give you more in-depth insight on how much search volume a keyword actually has, and compare certain keywords to kind of like give you the best ones. So it's kind of like creating the keyword list will be your foundation, so it's the most important thing. So if you don't really know what you're doing, it might make sense to hire somebody to just build a keyword list for you. There are a lot of people out there that use those tools, that do this on Upwork or Fiverr. But for now, you can pretty much, like when just starting off, you can also do it yourself. Like you just need to go into the tools and then into the keyword planner, and then here you can just click discover new keywords. And usually I just kind of like start pretty simple. So let's just say, okay, just to give you an example, obviously we're in roofing, so we will type in roofing right here. And then you can also start with a website, which I wouldn't really recommend. I would just say start with keywords, roofing, and the location. You obviously want to put your location in here. So I got Germany in here right now, but let's just keep the same example and just to Houston, save, make sure to actually add the location, and then you can click get results. Now this will give you a list of a bunch of keywords essentially that are related to the keywords that we just put in the local area, and it will give you a lot of data like a couple of things. So actually we have the average monthly searches. So if we just look at roofing in Houston, we got 1,000 to between 1 and 10,000 monthly searches, which is pretty good. So, and then we got some unnecessary information for now. The competition right here is medium, so you can read through this, like what this actually means, but essentially pretty simple, like how competitive the keyword is, how many other roofers in the area are actually trying to rank for that exact keyword. So it's medium, and then top of page bid, so there's like the low range and then there's the high range. So this essentially just tells you like what the cost per click on the keyword will approximately be. So it can be between, so on the low end about 5, in this case it's euros, but in your case it will be dollars, and $20 at the like on the high end. So this kind of like gives you a broad idea of what this will be. Actually I just needed to update the language, so now you can see it gives us like a pretty good list of a lot of keywords, and as I said, you can kind of like see all the data. Some keywords are more expensive than others because more people are trying to rank for them. So what I would do is I would just go through this list to start off with, and you can just kind of like save the keywords that have pretty good data. So let's look at the first one. So it says roofers near me. We got 1 to 10,000 monthly search volume. That's pretty good. Competition is medium, and then the cost per click is 13 to 46, which is pretty high. So that might be a bit expensive, but it's a good keyword because the reason why it's more expensive is because it's very intent based. So this is also something you need to consider. Like if someone searches roofers near me, chances are they're actually looking for a roofer. While if somebody just searches roofing without any context, then they might just, I don't know, like want to know what roofing is or find some pictures of roofs or whatever it is. So let's just take this one out. So every keyword that you see in here that might make sense, you just click on it and just click, and then you can just click add keyword, and it will, as you can see, it's saved in plan. So you can just go through this list and just kind of like save a bunch of keywords that you can later on then use in your campaign. So let's just go through this. So at the end of the day, this will give you like a pretty broad, like a lot of different ideas. Like we got metal roofing, we got roof repair, we got roofing contractors. So let's just roofing contractors near me, which is a good one. And then we can just script down like long roofing. I don't even know what that is, but we might want to, I would say avoid keywords that include cost, just because that's usually like people just looking for prices, like not really serious. So again, try to go after like more intent, like roofers in my area, local roofing companies. And then again, you just click add keywords. And then when you have saved your list, you will end up having a list right here where you can just click on, and then you can see all the keywords that you saved to it. Now let's go back to the campaign first of all and go back into the settings, because I mentioned in the beginning what we kind of like skipped was the maximum cost per click. So when you go right here on the campaign and click on the gear icon, then you will be able to see, okay, everything that we just set in this campaign, meaning the budget and also the bidding. And you want to click on that because remember what we did, we said maximum clicks, and then we set a maximum cost per click, bid, like a bid limit, like the maximum that we want to bid for a click. And again, you don't want to bid too low, but you also don't want to bid too high. So now I'm going to show you like how we, based on the keywords, actually determine what our max cost per click should be. So right now it's 20, but what we want to actually do is we want to go back into the keyword planner like we just did, click discover keywords, and you just type in roofing. You want to put in your location, make sure the language is right. I will just put Houston in here again, save that and click get results. And now you can, again, kind of like go through all the relevant keywords that make sense, that are actually good, and you can see like what they usually cost from low to high. Now what you can also do is you can kind of like sort them from, okay, like this, you're just going to see like either the most expensive keywords on top or the most or the cheapest ones. Just make sure, like sometimes you have a very cheap cost per click, but the search volume is not high. Like if the search volume is like only 10 to 100, it's probably not pretty good. And at the same time, you also want to look again like at the quality of the keywords. But generally, how you determine the maximum cost per click that you should set, so you should look at the best keywords that have good search volume and high intent, and then you just essentially take the middle ground between the lowest and the highest range, essentially between the bids. So right here, for example, this is just one example. It says roof leak repair near me, which is pretty high intent, so we can look at it, and then it says $21 on the low end and $52 on the high end. So this is a pretty expensive keyword actually. Maybe also because it has like a pretty low search volume, and I guess okay, so it actually has low competition, but it's pretty expensive. But let's just take it as an example. So you would just take the middle ground, like the middle ground between 20 and 50. So that would be around $35 is the middle ground between those. And then you can kind of like just keep going through the keywords, the relevant ones, and just do the math, and then just take a general middle ground. Again, usually it's like in roofing probably between like 20 and $35 is what I would set. So let's just go back into the campaign on the left, campaign, and then click edit. And then here you can now set your cost per click. So I will just probably set this to 25. Like you can try going a bit lower in the beginning, because obviously you don't want to pay a lot for a keyword for a click. But if you go too low, then again you're just not gonna get, like, the campaign's just not gonna spend any money. So you can play around with this. I will just set it at 25 right now, which is kind of like on the lower end. Click save. And if it ends up not spending, then we know, okay, we might need to set the maximum cost per click a bit higher. So that being said, now we kind of like you understand like how to actually look for keywords and determine if they're good or bad keywords. And you have the maximum cost per click, like the campaign is set up. Now, before we can actually go into building the ads and the headlines, you need to understand how essentially the whole structure of the campaign, like in this case, a search campaign, will work. So we have the campaign. If I click on this, you can see there's one ad group in here. And at the end of the day, we want to have a lot of different ad groups, probably 15 to 20 different ad groups if you really properly build this out. So it will take a while to build this out. And the reason why you want to have that many ad groups is because I kind of like have an overview right here. You want to have one ad group per keyword group that you want to go after. So for example, right here you can see I kind of like divided it into services, materials, or roofing types, and then others. So services would be stuff like roof replacement versus roof repair or roof installation. So those are all similar, but you can't put them in one ad set, because if somebody's looking for a roof replacement and they see an ad for roof repair, they're probably not gonna, the chance of them actually clicking and signing up will just not be as high. So we want to get as narrow and as specific as possible with our ads and with our landing page. And in order to do that, we got to split everything up. So this is the services, and then materials, we have stuff like metal, shingle, tile, slate, flat, because those are all different things at the end of the day. And then even other stuff. So if we look at like emergency roofing, storm or hail roofing, residential roofing, multifamily, commercial, roof maintenance, all depending on what you do. Like if you're really just going after residential metal roof replacements, then you can only do those groups. But I would recommend kind of like building out everything that you really do, and then Google's going to decide, what's the best performer and where should it spend the money. So I will show you right now how this essentially looks like in practice. So if we go back in here, you can see right now we only have one ad group. So I will just edit that and make the name roof replacement. Don't worry, I will not make this video 3 hours and go through every single ad group. I will focus on those 4. So I will build 4 ad groups, one for roof replacement, one for roof repair, one for metal, and one for storm and hail damage. And that way you will really get the idea, and then you can just apply it to the rest, and it's going to be pretty simple, and you just need to copy, paste, and kind of like switch out the keywords and headlines. So let's start with the roof replacement ad group. Just named it, so let's go in here, and that will take us to the keywords. So obviously we don't want this keyword, so I will just go ahead real quick and click edit and remove. Okay, so now it's empty, we have no keywords in here, so I'm just gonna click plus, and in here you obviously want to paste your keywords. What I would recommend, open a fresh document, and then in here you want to just do a fresh document, click type in roof replacement, keywords, and in here you just want to create your list. Now I would recommend like probably between 10 and 15 keywords should be enough. So what you can do is you can once again go back. So now you know how it works, right? So you can go back into tools, you can go into the keyword planner. Let's just do that right now. Click discover, and then you just, this time you type in roof replacement. Now again, once again, make sure that you actually select the language and the location that you need to. So we have the correct data, and then you click save. Click get results, and now we have keywords that are related to roof replacements. And honestly, you can go through this. What I would usually recommend is you just, first of all, take roof replacement as a keyword as it is. So you understand, again, the different types of keywords that I mentioned earlier. So that you can either leave the keyword as it is. That's called a broad match. Then you can put the keywords in quotations, and that's called a phrase match. And then you can put it in brackets, which is an exact match. So never do broad match. We can just leave this out. Like, you don't need broad match. It's just gonna show your ads and all sorts of weird things that don't really have anything to do with it. So really just do those two. Like, you want to do the phrase match or the exact match. If you put it in, again, if you do a phrase match, what that means is it takes a sense of the keyword. So in this case, roof replacement. If somebody searches something that has the same content, but it's just worded slightly different or includes those words, but they added something to it, then your ads are still going to show, which is good because it gives you like a broader range of impressions. While with an exact match, it's only going to show the ads when somebody exactly searches word for word, letter for letter, this exact thing. So what I would recommend is put all your keywords in phrase match. The only keywords you want to put in exact match are location tied keywords, like very high intent keywords, something like roofing or roof replacement near me. So let's just start building the list. Again, we want like 10 to 15 different keywords. So you just do something like roof replacement near me. You want to put that in brackets. Then something like you can also do like slight variations, like roof replacement, and then you do like nearby. That would be still a different one, but as it's an exact match, you should have both of them in here. Then you can do very location specific stuff. Like, for example, if you're in Houston, you can do roof replacement Houston. So this is just an example of like 3 exact match that you could do. And then when it comes to phrase match, you can again do like the broader ones that are not maybe not super high intent, like again roof replacement. Then you can do roofing replacement. It's slightly different. I would still kind of like put it in there probably. Then and I already kind of like for this company, for example, I built out the Google Ads campaign already, so I can kind of like go in here and kind of like show you what we did here. So if we go into the roof replacement ad group, by the way, this is how it will eventually look like. If you have all your ad groups built out, you have like for every single theme, you have your ad group. So let's just go into roof replacement right here. You can see the keywords that we have in here. So you can see it's actually not that many. Like we have a couple in brackets, like roofing replacement near me. We have local roof replacement, for example, is something you can do. Obviously, we did our research on them, so I can just take them for now. And you can pretty much take the exact same ones when you're starting off, but then I would just be creative and just add keywords. And do your research again. You can always use the keyword planner. You can also go in here and let's just say you're not sure if it's going to be a good keyword or not. You just local roof replacement, you just copy it and you go in here and you just paste it. Again, make sure your area and your language is selected, and at the top you will exactly see, okay, how's like the average monthly search volume and all that stuff. So in this case, in this area, it's not a keyword that I would recommend. So maybe we don't want to have it in here. But then looking at what I got going on here, yeah, you can do stuff like roof replacement estimate. So all we want with this ad group is we want it to be specific around roof replacement. So it's just important that replacement is in the keyword. And then other than that, you can just change stuff around it. Obviously, keep it specific. Ideally, keep it high intent. Like roof replacement services is a good one just because that's obviously pretty high intent. And then you can check the search volume for every single one. So let's just keep going. Actually, you can also put roof replacement Houston as a phrase match as well. That should work. And then roof replacement company. You can do roof replacement contractor. So that should be pretty good. Like stuff like services, company, contractor, that will just kind of like, again, give you pretty high intent stuff. So this is the keyword list that we have for now, and you can just keep building it out. Use the keyword planner to just make sure that they have a good search volume and are not too competitive. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back into the campaign that we had right here. As you can see, we still have the roof replacement ad group. So now we want to add keywords. You just click the plus, and in here you just have like this field. So what we will do now is we will just paste them over, and you can pretty much leave it exactly like it is. So that's pretty much what we want to do. They're all going to be in here now, and then you can just click save for now. Then eventually you will kind of like just have all your keywords in here listed, as you can see. And you will also be able to, in here, actually see all the data, like what the click-through rate is, how many conversions you're getting from each keyword. And that way you're going to know like what keywords you might want to pause eventually, or you would in general like always add keywords. Now this is something I'm also going to talk about later on, but obviously in order to optimize the campaign long-term, you have to look at every single keyword, what the data looks like, and if you want to turn that keyword off, or if you want to add another keyword or a variation of it. But for now, this is going to be it. So this is our roof replacement ad group. And now we want to create the ad that's specific around roof replacement estimate. So you go to ads on the left side, and as you can see, that right here is our ad right now for this ad group. So we want to click edit, and now we're back in here. So this is what we saw in the very beginning. So we have our final URL, which we're going to talk about in a second when it comes to like the landing page. So I will just leave it as it is for now. In here, that's kind of like just your path. So you can do something like roof/replacement, and then you have all those slots for headlines. And I would recommend to use every single one. So I think you got like about 15 in total or something like that. So you just want to put all the different headlines in here. And right here you have the descriptions that you want to put in here. You don't really need to worry about site links. We will talk about assets later on, like that would include like logos and stuff like that, and even site links, so you don't need to do anything else in here. So really just add the descriptions, you want to add the headlines, maybe that right here, and the suitable landing page. Now what I will actually do is I will go to ChatGPT, so I would recommend maybe even get ChatGPT Plus, but go on ChatGPT, even if it's the free version, and now we want ChatGPT to help us generate good headlines for our keywords. But what I will actually start doing is I will go back to our document, and we will just take the keywords for this specific ad group, and then what we tell ChatGPT is, okay, so this is the prompt that I just wrote. I want to launch a Google search campaign for my roofing company. We have a specific ad group for roof replacement. I want you to create me 15 strong headlines I can use for that ad. Make sure the headlines are specific to the service and are benefit focused. Make them under 30 characters each and only use strong words. And then I will also give them our keywords. So I will say here are the keywords, and I will just paste the keywords that we have in the ad group. And now we just click paste, and ChatGPT will essentially, again, review it and write us 15 headlines that we could potentially use. You can even say write me like 50 different headlines, and then you can just pick the best ones and kind of like gain inspiration. So okay, let's just revisit this and say don't use any emojis. No emojis. So now we have 15 headlines. We have something like, okay, fast roof replacement pros, Houston roof experts, because it's also like location specific, top roof replacements, 1-day roof install, roofers near you. So really like benefit focused. Bunch of headlines. Now obviously you can also write your own headlines. Like you can be creative, and I would say like your headlines just need to be specific to the topic and to the service ideally, but you can be creative. Like if you have headlines that are just different from what most companies are running, then that's a good differentiating factor. I would say you can try to do some funny headlines. You can try to do some just like in general more creative headlines and like some standard headlines. You can even add some stuff to it and do something like different benefits like 5-star rated. You can do stuff like financing. So just like focused around like a lot of different things. So for now, as an example, I will just pick a couple that I think might perform good. So let's just do the first one, fast roof replacement. So we go back to our campaign. Actually, for the first headline, I will always do a keyword insertion. So you just type, I don't even know how it's called, but this little thing right here. So you just type it in here, and then it says keyword insertion. And so you just click that, Houston roof replacement, and then you click apply. So now we have the keyword insertion, Houston roof replacement. So it's kind of like what I would always do at first. And then the other headlines, you can just go back to ChatGPT and do stuff like, fast roof replacement is probably a good one. You can do Houston roof experts, do some of yourself. So you can do 5-star rated roof replacement. Make sure it's under 30 characters. You can also do stuff like licensed and insured. So it doesn't all need to be completely just focused on the specific keyword. So if it's not about roof, like licensed and insured, has nothing to do with roof replacement, but it's a good thing to know about the company. So what Google will do is it will kind of like use the different headlines that you give it and create combinations. So for example, it will do fast roof replacements, licensed and insured. So you can really get creative, and you can do like stuff like $0 down financing. You can go back on here and you can do free roof estimate. You can do free roof inspection. Well, let's take some more specific ones. So you can do trusted roof company. I like that. Local roof contractors. You can do let's see, 1-day roof install. Okay, I probably wouldn't do that because it got install in there. So we just say give me 50 more, and actually also give me some funny or creative ones. So this way you can just kind of like reprompt and just work with ChatGPT, or just be creative and just come up with a good list of nice headlines that you think might make sense if somebody searches this. So we can also do something like best roofer nearby. We can do, let's see, you can do like a question, old roof, get a quote. You can do strong roof guarantee. I will just put a couple in here. You will again have to do kind of like your research, and it actually also gave us like some funny or creative ones. Yeah, so it might not be like the perfect fit right away, so you gotta kind of like work with this and kind of like filter through what you actually want to use. This is a company where I kind of like already built it out, so I can also just get some inspiration from here, for example. So yeah, as you can see, pretty similar to what we did. You can also do maybe like insurance coverage. So we have a keyword for that as well, like a headline. I mean, we can do, let's just do a roof falling apart call now. So that's kind of like a more creative one, and then we should be good. So we have all our headlines in here now, and as you can see when you scroll up, it kind of like gives you some examples. It says like 5-star rated roof replacement, roof falling apart call now. So it kind of like does that. So that's nice. It also gives us an excellent score, which is good. Now in the descriptions, that's kind of like we have 90 characters here, so it's a bit more, and that will kind of show below the actual link. So what we want to put in here, I will just take this as inspiration. So it says roof damaged or worn out. We replace the fast financing and free estimates available. So it's pretty straight to the point. Again, you don't have unlimited characters, so straight to the point. Calls out the pain. Calls out like some benefits. Next one, roof replacement services near you. Get a free quote today. I think that's not the most difficult part. So build to last, build for you, protection you don't think about, style you love. Now at the end of the day, again, Google will kind of like take all those. This is why you do like 15 headlines and 4 descriptions, because Google will use all the stuff in a way that makes it perform well. So as long as it's not like completely bad what you write here, you should be good. Like, just do something that's specific, that's catchy, like basic copywriting. And again, you can always ask ChatGPT and use ChatGPT to help you to write convincing copy and descriptions and headlines. So it's really pretty simple. Again, the main thing is really just to some extent try to make it just specific to your keyword, especially when it comes to the keyword insertion. You want it to be something like Houston roof replacement, which is very specific to this exact keyword group. And then again, we're going to worry about the rest later. So for now, you can just click save ad. And then that's your ad. So you can see it right here. And at the end of the day, we actually want to create multiple ads. So that's just because we want to test as many headlines and descriptions as we can. So again, this takes a while to build out, especially if you have a lot of ad groups. But the next step would then be to kind of like click on this. So click, and then you click edit, and then you click copy. And then you can just click paste right here. and you select the campaign, you select the ad set, and then you click done. You need to tick if ad already exists in destination, create a duplicate. So we want to now click paste. So that way we're just gonna duplicate the same ad, and we can just swap out the headlines and the descriptions. So we essentially have 2 ads now. So in total, like 30 different headlines and 8 different descriptions, and then you can just do multiple ads. So as you can see right now, it showed up on here. So one, we just leave it as we just build it, and then the other one, we're going to edit it, go back into ChatGPT, whatever we want to do, and just replace all the keywords, make sure that we, swap it out. Just maybe we can do one like this, and then we can do one that's just more experimental with like super creative headlines. I don't know, whatever you want to put in here, but just replace everything again. So we have like a lot of stuff to test, and then once you're done, you can just click save ad. So now when I go back into the campaign and click on the campaign, we have our roof replacement ad group with our roof replacement specific keywords and our roof replacement specific ad. I will later on also show you how to set up the landing page, which will also be a crucial part, but for now that's how we want it to be. Now when we go back into our document, the next one would, for example, be roof repair. And what you can do there, like once you have the base, it's a bit easier. Like you can click here and you can just click edit, and you can once again click copy, same thing we just did. You can click paste, click on it and just click done and click paste. So now it shows up and it's automatically named roof replacement number 2, but we want it to be, for example, roof repair, because that's going to be our next ad group. And now this time we just go in here, and as we duplicated it, we already have everything in here. So that's the ad group, and obviously we want to remove all the keywords, so we want to go in here, and actually it's probably enough if we just edit them. So it says roof replacement, so we want this to be roof repair, so just go in here and just edit them. So in this case it's pretty simple, because we're just going to swap out replacement with repair everywhere. So I will just do that real quick. Okay, now I swapped out all the replacements with repair. So the keywords are pretty much good now. And what we want to do is we want to also go into the ads. Now again, we still have the 2 ads right here. You should have changed the other ones. So we have like 30 headlines. So you go in here in each ad and just go through the headlines. So at the top right here, it says roof replacement. So we want to just once again swap that out for repair. And you can also click, if you're on Windows, like Control F, and then just search for replacement. So it will mark everything that mentions replacement. And you can just swap that out with repair. So let's just do repair. And everything that doesn't have a replacement in it, you can pretty much leave it exactly like we have it right here. So here we also want to do repair. So that's it, and then you just click save ad. And yep, then you do that with the other ad as well. And this was a pretty simple example. So we have the roof repair ad group ready. Now we're already sitting at, if we go in here, 2 ad groups. So it's just going to be the same process. Next one would be metal roofing, so that's going to be a bit different. Alright, on to the next one. So now we got the metal roofing ad set. So again, we have the roof repair ad set ready. We have the roof replacement ad group ready. So what you're going to do again is you can just duplicate the thing. So you just click it like we did before, click copy, and right here you can just click paste, select the right campaign, and click done, and then you just click paste to, again, just duplicate the thing, copy it over, and then we can just go in there and essentially change the keywords again. So now it's going to be specific for metal roofing, and also change the headlines. So again, with roof replacement and repair, it was pretty easy and simple. We just needed to essentially swap out one word, and it would do the same thing. Now that we're kind of like going after a very specific material or type of roofing, we want to change some other things as well. So first of all, let's rename it, name it metal, and then we go in here and we want to get rid of all of those keywords. Actually, what we can do is we can kind of like just edit some of the keywords. So I would say, for example, roof replacement. It's actually nothing that we really want to do, because we have that in the roof replacement ad set. So let's start off with metal roofing. And you can use the keyword planner once again, so you can pretty much always with any ad group, you can go to tools, planning, keyword planner, and just type in metal roofing, see what keywords perform, what keywords got a good search volume, just like I showed you before. And this is something you should definitely always do. Now, for the purposes of saving time, I just want to show you like in theory like how it would work, but you will have to obviously do your keyword research and make sure you have some good keywords in here. So right here it says roof replacement estimate, so I can maybe swap that out for metal roofing estimate. And actually right here I have an account where I already kind of like built this out and did some testing. So I got a couple of keywords in here, so I will just, for the purposes of saving a bit of time, copy them over. So I have metal roofing services. So as you can see, it's pretty much the same theme. Like right here it says roof replacement services, and we just want to swap that out with metal roofing services. So pretty straightforward. Next one would be metal roofing company. So let's copy that over. Right here it says roof replacement company. So again, it's the same thing. Swap it over. Then we have metal roofing near me. So as you can see, it's again like always kind of like the same pattern. So it says roof replacement near me. Let's do metal roofing near me. Make sure to put it in brackets so it's an exact match. And then click save. And then we have roof replacement Houston. So let's do metal roofing Houston. Click save. And then we have roof replacement nearby. Metal roofing nearby. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So I got one more here, metal roofing contractors near me. So yeah, we can also add some more. We got metal roofers. So really just like slight variations between the keywords, but I just want to still have like a good variety of keywords. At the end of the day, what's really important is that you just have a bunch of stuff in here to test, and later on you can still turn off the keywords that just don't perform. But the most important thing is that you just have metal specific, the keyword metal roofing in every single keyword. So metal roof installers is something we can also do. Let's put it in here, and then that's good. And by the way, here on the side, it also gives you some keywords suggestions by relevance. So you can sometimes do this. Again, either way, no matter what keyword you use, do your research on the keyword using the keyword planner. But on the side, you can still see a couple of things like metal roofing companies near me, metal roof installers near me. And a lot of those are really pretty good. Because they're obviously, again, relevant. This is something that Google suggests. So I would definitely say this is some stuff that you can definitely consider. But for now, let's just save this. So now as you can see, we only have metal roofing specific keywords in here, and we can go back to the ad group. Now the metal roofing ad group is pretty much done. What we need to do now, like we did with the others, is we also need to go into the ad on the left side right here. And again, we have the 2 ads in here, so let's just click edit. And now we gotta also swap up the headlines. So in this case, again, this was originally the roof replacement ad group. So we just wanna make sure to swap out the headlines so it's metal roofing specific. So I would just start off by over here saying like metal roofing, something like that. Right here it says Houston roof replacement, so let's just do Houston metal roofing, click apply. That's a keyword insertion. Then we have fast roof replacement, so fast metal roofing, Houston metal roof experts. We can do 5-star rated metal roofing. Just make sure everything is relevant. License and insured, we can leave it. Zero down financing, we can leave it. Free metal roof estimate, free roof inspection, trusted metal roofing company, local metal roof contractors, best metal roofers nearby, insurance coverage, roof falling apart now. And we can also do something that's like a bit more specific. Like for example, if you think about metal roofing, it's obviously very, like it has its own benefits. So we can, for example, metal roofs are very durable and they're energy efficient. So we can do something like energy efficient metal roofing. And we can also do something like durable metal roof services. So yeah, this way we kind of like have everything checked. The ad score is excellent again, which I usually try to achieve. And then also don't forget the descriptions. So same thing goes for descriptions. I would do something that's more specific. So for example, right here, just to like out of my head, and you can always use ChatGPT for this, but let's just do save money on energy costs, getting a metal roof, whatever it is. And then again, you can go into ChatGPT if you want, and you can just, so I'm just telling it to take this description essentially and just rewrite it for metal roofing. So one more thing, make sure it's under 90 characters. And then it will give us a couple of good descriptions, so I will just take them for now. So we have metal roof replacement, durable, efficient, and low maintenance, free quote today. I like it, so let's put it in here. Do the same thing with some of the other ones, like this. And then we have our 4 descriptions, and yeah, don't worry about the rest for now. Again, click save ad. And then obviously, like I said, we always have 2 ads, so we can really split test a lot of different headlines and variations. So go into the second ad, do the same thing, just do some like different creative stuff in terms of the headlines and descriptions, and then you should be good. So it's a time-consuming process. I'm not gonna lie, it's really taking a while, but it's essentially a thing that you build out one time, and then in the first couple of months, you will have to kind of like manage it and turn off bad keywords, come up with new keywords, build a negative keyword list. But at the end of the day, it will be pretty straightforward after a while, and if you have something up and running, it will keep running, and you don't really have to do a lot to have it keep working. So yeah, we have 3 ad groups for now. I'm just going to show you one more, like I said. So we have the storm and hail damage, which is also a bit different from the other ones. So let's just take this one right here, same procedure. So we just copy it and paste it. All right, so we have the ad group, we just name it storm/hail damage. Go in here, same thing. So once again, I already built it out on another account, so for the purpose of saving ourselves some time in this video, I'm just gonna go in here and we're gonna click on storm and hail damage, and those are the keywords that I have. Now, as you can see, once again, like it's pretty straightforward, and you will understand like how it works. Just do your research, make sure the keywords you use are good, but they mainly just should be relevant to what you're trying to do. So in this case, it's a bit different. Like we have roof damage, so let's go in here, let's actually get rid of all of those, remove them, and then we can just start from scratch and add our new keywords in here. So roof damage, again, on the right side, make use of those suggestions. Like at one point, if you got a couple keywords in there, so let's just continue. Hail, then we can do storm damage inspection. Just think of like what people would search for if they got roof damage. For now, we have the list. You can take inspiration from this, and we can just click save, and everything's in here. Once again, like we did with the other three, we go to the ads, click edit, and at this point you should understand, like, you know, how this essentially works. It's pretty repetitive, but yeah, the attention to detail is really what matters. We just really want the ad when it shows up to be exactly what people are searching for. So let's just do storm damage roofing, Houston storm damage experts. So that's enough. Then we can just go in here, see what I had going on in this ad. Once again, you can go to ChatGPT, just ask it to do all that. But for now, yeah, you can kind of like take something similar like I have it. So we don't want roof replacement in here once again. We want specific stuff. So storm damage roofing company. Yeah, roof repair near you. You can leave some of the stuff in here, like I said. So we can 5-star rated storm damage roofer. Okay, that doesn't really work out in terms of the character count, so 5-star storm damage roofer should do. Then we continue. No hassle. Storm damage repair. Let's try that. Storm damage roof quote. Continue. Storm damage pros. In this case, it's Indianapolis, but let's just do Houston, obviously. Continue. The easy storm damage solution. I think roof falling apart call now could definitely be something that we can leave, as well as insurance coverage, because it's obviously relevant to like a storm damage, like just leaving insurance in there. Then yeah, the storm damage solution, free storm damage quote today. See if we got something similar. Let's do this. Yeah, so you get the idea. Just, you know, swap out all the headlines. Same thing goes for descriptions. So I can also go to my other ChatGPT that I just had. Now do it for storm/hail damage specific roofing, and it will give me a couple more descriptions that are just fitting the theme. So I will just do it like that for now, and then we should be good. It's all about testing a lot of different things, and Google will find the good variations. If you give it actually like 15 headlines, 4 descriptions, and all that times 2 because you have 2 ads, then that's going to be plenty for Google to have some solid headlines, and then it really just comes down to getting your keywords right. So we have the 4 ad groups. So let's just go in here, view all 4. We have the 4 ad groups, and you can just keep building it out. Like I said, right here you have a couple of examples. So those are just services, materials. You can do others, and if there's any service or thing that you know offer that's roofing related, put it in there. Now if you do something like siding or gutters, I would do it in a completely separate campaign on a side note, because you don't want that mixed up with your roofing campaign. But all that right here will be in one single campaign, which is this example that I just did, and it will have a $100 a day budget or $50 a day, whatever you put, and it will spend the budget across all your ad groups and keywords and put the budget where it's performing the best. So not all your keywords are going to get a lot of spend. Usually the keywords that have a higher search volume will get most of the spend. Now one more thing that we want to take care of are actually negative keywords. That's pretty crucial, because negative keywords will essentially just make sure that your ads don't show in places where you just don't want them to show. And first of all, I'm going to talk about like creating an overall negative keyword list that you can do essentially for the whole campaign, so every single ad group that's in there. And first of all, you do that by going to tools, and then you go to shared libraries, and then you go to exclusion lists, and right here you have a negative keyword list, and you can just click plus, and then you give it a name, negative. And what I would do is I would go to ChatGPT. You can open a new chat and just tell them. So that's the first thing. We essentially just tell ChatGPT to give us a big negative keyword list of keywords that are not necessarily relevant to the services that we offer, because a lot of the times your ads will show, if you don't have this, your ads will show for, like, as you can see, stuff like, you know, DIY, do it yourself. So people who are not really looking for that tutorial, going down even more, like we have it kind of like split it up, but it has jobs and careers. Like we don't want people looking for jobs, we want people looking for a roof. Then yeah, unrelated roofing, like vehicles, RVs, trailers, and stuff like that, suppliers. So all that kind of like stuff that just would essentially disturb our campaign, because those things can have something to do with roofing. So when somebody searches roofing, because we use phrase match, our ad might still pop up. So we want to like eliminate essentially all those placements, and you will have to build this out over time. Like what you will do, and I will show you how to do that in a second, but you will have to review your search terms, essentially what your ads are ranking for, and add negative keywords throughout the process. I would actually probably do them as like an exact match or a phrase match. So you can say ChatGPT, okay, now give me all of those keywords combined in one list, and make them either exact match or phrase match, depending on what you think works best. And then it will give us a whole list, and we'll make sure that it puts them in either a phrase or exact match. Some keywords you definitely want them in exact match. Some keywords you rather want them in phrase match. So essentially this is why I gave ChatGPT the command to put them, depending on what he thinks would perform better, put them in either exact or phrase match to achieve our goal. So let's just delete all this, put everything in here, so we have the negative keyword list. And now another thing that you want to add to that negative keyword list is competitors, because as you know, like in your area will probably be a lot of other roofers and competitors, and we don't want that somebody searching for a competitor and they already know they want to go ahead with that company, and our ad ranks for that, because that's just wasted money and wasted clicks. So essentially how we do this is I can just say, like, there's multiple ways you can do this. You can go on Google Maps and you can do something. You can search roofing Houston. Now this will probably pull up a lot of your competitors that are like in the local area. In this case I just took Houston, and then you can just scrape all of the companies in here and put them on like the negative list. I would just tell ChatGPT, so I just told ChatGPT to give me a list of all roofing companies in Houston, Texas, and give me like a negative keyword list, so it's able to do like the research in the local area and just give me like pretty much a pretty big list. So it seems like the list is pretty small. Like as you can see, it's actually gives me like stuff like Owner Roofing, like just like big local roofing companies. Now there's obviously a lot more than those, so sometimes you need to give ChatGPT like another command, and then as you can see it will keep doing like research and also searching for like the smaller companies in the area that you also want to exclude, not only the big ones. And this list can be huge. Like there's probably thousands of roofing companies depending on how big your market is. There's a lot of negative keywords that we can add. So for now, let's just copy this over, put it on our negative keyword list, as well as this thing that they had above, like this. And then, yeah, for now, that's our negative keyword list that we can leave like that. So we can just click save. Yeah, you need to make sure that there's no special characters in the keywords. This is why Google gave me this error message. So I just went into ChatGPT and told it to remove all of the special characters from my keyword list. So now it gave me like a clean list essentially. So I pasted all the keywords in here. As you can see, we got a huge list. Actually, it's not that big. Like in total, we got 167. Eventually, you want to have probably thousands of keywords or negative keywords on there. But this is something you can again just keep building out. Like if you realize some more negative keywords you can put on, you can always use ChatGPT to create you more list and do more research. And just the bigger the list is, and the more accurate the negative keyword list is, the better your ads will perform, because it will just make your ads actually show on the best possible locations and not waste money on keywords that you don't want to rank for. And eventually, so let me just go back to the campaign. Eventually, when you launch the campaign, you will be able to see how every single keyword performs, but you can also go on insights and reports, and you can go on search terms. So in here, you will exactly see what keywords your campaign essentially ranks for. So just to give you an example, right here I had an initial campaign that I launched that's not active anymore, but I ran it for a roofer, and we had to do a relaunch. And when I go into search terms and I select that campaign right here, which was a search campaign, and do all keywords, you can actually see like what search terms the campaign actually ranked for. So you can see right here it says metal roofing. That's pretty good, so we wanted to rank for keywords like that. And on the right side you can also see like how much it spent and how many conversions it actually got from each keyword. And then there's some stuff in here, for example, what I realized right here, Owens Corning shingles. So that's obviously like a specific shingle brand. So if you see that it ranks and spends money on something like this, you want to copy it, and essentially what you want to do is you want to go back to your search terms. So you go back to tools and exclusion lists, and you can always edit this list or just click on this list, click plus, and then you just add Owens Corning shingles, or maybe just Owens in general, to the negative keywords, and then you click save. So now it's going to exclude that brand and prevent the ad from showing multiple times. And then we can scroll down. Here, Menards metal roofing, so that seems like it's either a company or another brand, so we want to again go in here and exclude it, click save, and then scroll down, and you just go through everything. So those can either be like here also, like it can be brands, it can be other companies that you just didn't have on your negative keyword list, like here ABC Roofing Indianapolis is probably a company, or it can also be like super low quality keywords. Like sometimes when people are searching against stuff like trailers, or sometimes it's also like low intent stuff like roofing cost, so you don't necessarily want to rank for roofing cost, because chances are those guys are really not super serious about getting a roof. They're just searching around, looking at a couple quotes. So at the end of the day, this way you kind of like build your keyword or negative keyword list over time. And so one more thing that I would definitely pretty much always recommend to exclude from the beginning is, again, stuff like cost or stuff like free. You don't want free, you don't want cost, and you can also put them as exact match like this, and then you can click save and just add more and more negative keywords. And now before we move on, once you created that list, that initial negative keyword list that you will keep building out, you definitely need to click it, and you need to click apply to campaigns and select our search campaign that we just did, and then you just click apply, so this way it will actually be applied to the campaign. And now another thing regarding negative keywords, now we just did a overall negative keyword list that we want to be active for the whole entire campaign, so all the ad groups, but you can also create negative keywords to every ad group specifically. So if we click into the campaign, you remember we have the 4 ad groups that we essentially came up with. So I can go, for example, into the metal roofing campaign, and what we can do right here is we can also click on, so right now this is those are like the keywords essentially that we did. And now we can also click on negative keywords here at the top. And as you can see, this is the list that we just created, which is for the whole campaign. But now we can also create one that's, again, add negative keyword lists to just this specific ad group, so just for metal roofing. And we want to do this so that we don't have overlap between the ad groups. So for example, if we have, like, there's a reason why we have a roof repair ad group and a roof replacement ad group, because we don't want because we want the content of those 2 ad groups to be very specific, meaning when somebody searches roof repair, we want the ad to show, and only the ad, that's actually specific in terms of the headlines and the landing page to roof repair services, not replacement. And in order to avoid that there's like overlap and somebody sees the roof replacement ad when they search roof repair, we can essentially go in here and just create negative keyword list that excludes this ad group from the other keywords from the other ad groups. So for example, right here I got metal roofing, and later on, as I said, we might want to do something like shingle roofing ad group as well. So in order to exclude any shingle roofing from this ad group, we would do put like shingle roofing in here, or tile roofing, slate roofing. So just to make sure that, again, it's just not showing anywhere else, and then you can click save. So you get the idea. Essentially, you want to do it like this. So this is now ad group specific, and it won't show for any other ad groups, avoiding overlap. So it's pretty straightforward if you go in here. Right now we only have 4 ad groups, so that makes it relatively simple. You just want to make sure, okay, going into the roof repair ad set, you essentially want to go into the negative keywords and make sure that there's no overlap with the roof replacement ad set, for example, and also no overlap with the storm damage and the metal roof ad set. And then you kind of like just do that with every single ad group. Add those keywords. Once again, it's kind of time consuming in the beginning, but once you've built it out, it's there, and then you should definitely pay that attention to detail in the beginning to actually make it work. Now, the last thing that I would definitely recommend to set up are the assets. So right here on the left, you can click on assets, and it will take you to this page. So right here, you just have all sorts of assets that you can add to your Google Ads account, and those will apply to every single campaign that you do. So you should definitely add as many of them as you can. So if we click, for example, on business name, you want to click plus, you want to click get started. And for that, for example, you will have to do an advertiser verification, and you need to do this either way. Like if you want to start advertising, you will have to make sure or show Google that you're a legit business. So if you're a licensed or registered roofing company, then you shouldn't have any trouble doing that. You just essentially send them your EIN and your business name and all that stuff. But it's pretty quick. So you, again, just confirm your phone number and do all that stuff. But then you should be able to add your business name. Same thing goes for the business logo. So either way, for every asset that you want to add, you need to do the advertiser verification. Actually, you just need to do it one time and then you can add all the assets. But so you have your business name, you have your logo, site links, again, are not super important for the ads, but essentially those are like, when you see the Google ad, those are like links below the Google ad that take people to specific pages. So for example, if you have on your landing page, for example, a specific landing page for roof repair and then one for roof replacement, one for metal roofing, you can have those side links under the ad so people can immediately click there. But it's not super important with how we structure things. Headlines, I would definitely do that, but we have our headlines within the ads already. Like I showed you, we created all the headlines, so it's not that important. Same thing goes for descriptions. Callouts, I would definitely do that. Maybe to give you an example of all of those things, I will just once again go to this account of one of my clients, and we can just see how we set it up in here. So on the left side, I will just click on assets, and we can go in here. So as you can see, when I go to images, we have like, actually we didn't add any images on the asset side. You can definitely do that, like images and videos of roofs that you've done, just your, showing you while you're working, whatever. Then business name, we have the business name in here. We have the business logo in here. Side links, we don't have any. Same thing goes for headlines, descriptions. Like I said, we have already built those in the ads. Callouts are pretty nice. Like those are kind of like just things similar to the headlines, that we have in here that just are very benefit focused. So stuff like locally owned and operated, 50-year warranty, custom designs, 150 plus 5-star reviews, fast turnarounds, free estimates, and all that kind of like stuff that just makes your company good compared to other companies. Put everything in here. You can't do too much. I would say like if you can add like 10 to 20 in here, that's good. And those callouts will also show on the ads occasionally. So Google will use all the information and the assets that you give it and kind of like test them and place them at various places so that it just boosts the conversion rate essentially. Then structured snippets. When I click edit right here, you can see it's again like pretty similar to headlines. It's just like when you see the Google ad, you can see we have the headlines at top, and then in the description, we have the descriptions that we set, but then we also have those structured snippets. So this is stuff like, once again, like services that you offer. So I usually just obviously type in English, and then I would usually do types. Like you can select stuff like brands, courses, degree programs. For roofing, I would just do types, and then you can do, all your services in here. So you can do roof installation, roof repair, TPO roofing, metal roofing. So just showing people that you do essentially all that stuff and put all your services in here. And then Yeah, that's under structured snippets. Under call, you definitely want to set this up. You want to put your business number in here, like your business phone number, put it in here. And again, if I click edit, it kind of like shows you an example. So the call button will be like below the ad and just show the number so people can call right away, which is definitely recommended. Lead form, you don't need to do that because we're going to set up a landing page. Then messages, also not too important. Location, I would definitely put it in. So you can just put your business address in and kind of like the location you're serving. Price, I wouldn't do it if you're in roofing because it obviously varies on, you know, like the size and the material and all that stuff. And then yeah, promotion is kind of like a thing that you can do if you have like a special, like a summer special kind of like discount, $1,000 off a roof or whatever, that you just want to show across all your ads so people are aware of that. Then you can definitely do that. So just to give you an example, how this would look like, it will kind of like show below the ad. So you can do either just show it in a specific ad group or you can show it across the whole campaign. And then you can also select like an event. So, you know, there's like a lot of stuff like Black Friday, back to school, Boxing Day, Carnival. Let's just do Christmas. You have a Christmas special, you do English, probably USD, monetary discount. So you can do either like $1,000 off, or you can do like a percentage discount, and then the items. So let's just do roof replacement. $1,000 off roof replacement, and then you can even have like a specific page for that offer, which I would recommend. Like if somebody clicks on the offer instead of the actual link, I would take them to a specific landing page just for that specific offer. So you can definitely build this out. You can even do like for how long it's gonna last. Like this is Christmas, so I don't know, you might want it to be like just throughout December, so you can just type it in here, and then once the offer runs out, it won't show on the ads anymore. So it's a pretty cool tool. I would definitely recommend adding that if you have like any kind of promotion that you're running. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the assets. So do your advertiser verification and add as many assets as possible. It's all in one place and it will just apply and boost all your campaigns. All right, so to sum it up, for now, we have the campaign. We have all our different ad groups with unique keywords in them, unique headlines in them. We added our assets, created a whole Google Ads account, set a maximum cost per click. So that's all pretty good, and that's all almost done. Like the last thing that we really need to talk about to finish up the campaign are the landing pages, and this can take a while. So again, if you're just a roofer, like I would recommend getting a company to do this for you, but at the end of the day, you will have to do a landing page. So you can obviously just put your homepage in here. Like you can say, okay, I just go into every single ad group. So let me do that real quick. Go into every single ad group, go on ads, click edit, and right here, just put your, you know, normal homepage in here. I wouldn't recommend doing that. You can, but again, the whole point of splitting up all the ad groups into different services is to make it like super specific. So when somebody searches for metal roofing, we want to send them to a metal roofing landing page. Just positioning ourselves as the local metal roofing experts instead of sending them to a general homepage or landing page. So essentially how we do that is we use GoHighLevel. And essentially we have landing pages that are specifically built for Google. So those are different from the landing pages that I usually show for Facebook. And I just want to show you a couple examples. So if I go on Google Ads right here, you can see that I have a lot of different landing pages. So I have one for roof repair, roof replacement, storm damage, roof maintenance, and they're all built within GoHighLevel. So if you don't have GoHighLevel already, I recommend it. Like either way, like if you're on Facebook, if you're on Google, any other advertising platform, as long as you do lead generation, online marketing for your roofing business, definitely get GoHighLevel. It's just $100 a month for your own account. And it will give you a lot of features that I'm not going to go too deep into in this video. I have other videos on my YouTube channel showing you, you know, the power of this tool, but you can have text message automations, email automations, a lot of stuff when it comes to conversion rate tracking, and also like the website builder. So if you sign up with my link, I usually send out my snapshot, meaning that you can sign up with my affiliate link in the description, get your account, get a 14-day free trial, and I will send you a template, like my snapshot, my whole account, that you can just import, and it will include those Google ads essentially right here. So let's just do an example. So this is roof repair, and again, it's something I already built out for this client. So I already put their logo in here, their phone number in here, and pretty much everything that we want. So this is how the landing page looks like, first of all. So at the headline, you know, this is the roof repair page. So it says professional roof repair services, stop leaks fast, 5-star rated, emergency service, free roof inspection. So it's same day repairs available. So it's all like very specific to roof repairs. And then we essentially just have like the survey right here. So this is how we capture actual leads. So they can either call by clicking a button and they just call the company and we track that. Or the second conversion is essentially the lead form. So we just take them through like a survey. They put their address in, they put their name in, and give us their contact details, and we can reach out to them. Again, this is a template. We've tested this a lot. It performs very well, so you just have some credibility on here. In general, you can have more information on this page than you would have on Facebook, because on Facebook, it's social media, people have a low attention span, and you want to keep it very simple. On Google, people are actively searching for something, so giving them more information about the company and what you do is generally better. So right here we still have like some bullet points. You know, it's all once again focused on roof repairs. You can read through this if you want. We also have like a section saying why choose our company essentially. Make it all quality repairs. Make it all very specific to repairs. Have call to actions throughout the page so they can always click and call the number. What our customers say. So we have like a couple of reviews on here, which are also, by the way, for repairs. Like they say, for example, this one says, had a leak during heavy rain. They came out quickly, found the problem, and fixed it the same day. Professional services. So it's obviously based around repair, not like a replacement. And then yeah, again, more call to actions. Just some nice pictures. Use native pictures. Don't use like stock footage. I would say like Google definitely detects this. So if you have quality pictures of your own company and yourself on the landing page, that will not only build trust with the people, but it will also show Google that you're more legit. So yeah, definitely put your own pictures on here. And at the bottom, I kind of like just have like, you should have like your impressum and stuff. But at the end of the day, again, use the template that I have. If you comment down below, I might be able to just send it to you. And then yeah, on here, essentially this is how it works. This is the info that we give them. And then, like I said, we want to have multiple versions. So this was for roof repair. We have the same for replacement, storm damage, and all those different things. Maybe just show you another example. So for example, we have metal roofing as well. Right here it says metal roofing experts. Tied to the location, and then when we scroll down, it all says, we have pictures of metal roofing. So this is also different. We have a metal roof picture example from the company. We can scroll down a bit more, and as you can see, the reviews are different. So excellent experience with our metal roof replacement. So this person is searching for metal roofing. We take them to this page, and it's all based around, okay, we're the best metal roofing company in the local area. This is why it's so powerful and why it's working at the end of the day. So yeah, again, if we scroll down, this is essentially how it works. So the page is all similar, but we just swap out the pictures and the text to where it's like very customized, and we do that for every single one. Back to Google, this is again the ad group. So let's just say we go into ad groups and we go into storm and hail damage, and we go to ads. We added the ad right here. We don't want to have the homepage. We want to go back and we want to search for the specific page. So in this case, storm damage. We copy the domain and we put it in here. So now when somebody clicks on the storm damage ad, which has a storm damage keyword and storm damage headlines, we take them to a storm damage landing page, which will give us the best possible conversion rates at the end of the day. So yeah, and then we just click save ad, and that's how it works. So just another example. And then before we can now launch a campaign, there's one more thing that we need to do, which is the conversion rate tracking setup. This is something that I would address more in depth in another video, or you just go to YouTube. I'm sure there are a lot of great videos out there, and you just type in Google Ads conversion rate tracking setup. But essentially, to give you a broad overview, if you go to goals on the left side, conversions and summary, this will show you like all the conversions that you set up. So in here, like I just showed you the landing page, we have two possible conversions. One is a lead form submission and the other one is a call. So we want to track both of them as conversions, and we want the campaign to optimize for both of them. So you can always just click create conversion goal and just go through the process. Once again, there will be like code snippets that you need to install on your landing page. So if we go back to GoHighLevel, in the settings, you can install like a piece of code on the website and in the settings to once again like track the lead form submissions, but also track the phone calls. And this is something again I can walk you through in a separate video. Comment down below if you want to see it from me, or just go on Google, go on YouTube, search it up, or just ask ChatGPT. It will give you like a perfect explanation on how to set it up. But once you have the conversion rate tracking set up, then you're good to go. So you have your campaign. You have all your different ad groups with all the specific keywords, specific headlines, specific landing page. You have the conversion rate tracking set up, and at that point, you can just launch your campaign and essentially start. And then once again, to really optimize the campaign over time, I would go in here probably every single day, and I would always just go on insights and reports. You can go on search terms and see what search terms your campaign is ranking for, and make sure to add stuff to your negative keyword list. Make sure that you're not ranking for poor keywords, and just adjust your keywords over time. And then you can also go in here, like back to the campaign, and click into it. You can click on an ad group, and you will see how each single keyword performs. So let's just take roof damage as an example. We didn't spend any money on this, but let's just say it spends $100 on it and we only got one click. Then we know that the cost per click is very high on that one, and that's probably just not performing very well. So you can click on the green dot and just click pause, and this way you can just continue to do that over time and just pause the bad keywords, keep the good keywords alive, and then just add more keywords over time. So at one point you have a bunch of keywords in there that are actually constantly performing, plus you build out your negative keyword list, so your campaign just gets stronger and stronger. So this is what I mean, like Google can take a while to pick up. This is something you got to remember, which is why I will walk you through like month 1 to 3 what results to expect here in a second. Alright, so that was long. Now back into the presentation. I kind of like just have like a simple graphic right here. With Google, it's usually very exponential. So if you know my Facebook ad videos with social media, you know that I'm a fan of usually starting off with Facebook because you can start a campaign and you can get results within the first week. Now with Google, it's a bit different. It's more like exponential, where month 1, it's usually pretty slow because you just set up your campaign and you just didn't do like any type of testing yet. And yeah, you just put a bunch of keywords in there, essentially just hoping for the best. So yeah, your keywords still need to be proven and still need to be tested. Obviously, like the better research you do upfront on your keywords, the better you're going to be off. Like if you get an expert to build a strong keyword list for you, then you might get way better results off the bat compared to when you just build it out yourself and don't do a lot of research on the keywords. So yeah, naturally your cost per lead will be higher in the beginning. You might get like in the first couple of days you might not get a single lead, and then maybe you get your first lead. You gotta watch the quality of the leads. Is it good? Is it bad? Watch at the search, like look at the search terms. But month one, you will probably just have pretty inconsistent results, rather higher cost per lead. And then the goal is really just to get an ROI. Like even if you just get 5 leads in the first month, but maybe 1 or 2 of them actually close, which isn't like, with Google, the lead quality is higher. You pay more for a lead, but the quality is usually higher because they get higher intent. So like I said, like if the cost per lead is high in the first month, like you're spending $100 a day, that's $3,000 in ad spend for the first month. But if you close like 1 or 2 projects out of it, then you still have an ROI. Like you got your money back plus probably a good profit. So that gives you the opportunity to go into the second month and, you're just start improving your keywords. Again, eliminate the bad keywords, come up with more good keywords, build out your negative keyword list, super important. And then this way, your cost per lead will definitely drop a lot. Like month 2 is usually where I see a pretty high improvement as well. Like it really like starts getting better and better because you're getting more conversions. So yeah, your cost per lead will drop. The goal eventually is to get the cost per lead to $50 to $100. Like $50 cost per lead on Google is great. Like that's probably as good as it gets, and 100 I would say is like a good average. Like if you can get your cost per lead to 100 on Google, that's awesome. That's gonna give you a good ROI long term. So yeah, generally it's gonna get a bit more consistent in month 2, and you will eventually have like after 60 days, you will have a better ROI than you had in month 1, ideally. So you probably spent the same amount of money in month 2 than you did in month 1, but you will have more projects closed in month 2. And then month 3 is where it kind of like, when I'm talking like exponential, like it really picks up usually in month like 3 or sometimes even earlier. Like I said, if you have a super good keyword list and you really know what you're doing, it might pick up in month 2. But the key thing is really like you need to get enough conversions in the account. When you start off on a fresh account, you have no lead conversions in there, so Google just doesn't know where to place your ads and what people to look for, which makes it hard. So this is why I said in the beginning you have the maximum cost per click bidding strategy. So optimizing for clicks and setting like a maximum bid. Now you use the strategy in month 1, maybe month 2, but when you get to a point where you have like 30 conversions in your account, like I would say 20 to 30 actual like lead conversions, then Google has enough data so you can set the conversion goal to maximum conversion. And this is when things really pick up and Google has enough data. So your CPL will hopefully drop to around $50 to $60 in month 3 and moving on. And the bad keywords that are just not performing should be gone at this point. You should only have some keywords that are performing good. Obviously it's still going to be a process. Like you still month after month, even after a couple months, will have to build out your keyword list even more to improve even more. And then obviously month 3 you will just see a much better ROI, and then going from there, it will be pretty consistent. Like once you have the campaign and it's performing and you have your good keywords, they will just keep performing over time for months and sometimes even years. And at one point, you just don't have to really touch it anymore, and it's just performing, and you can leave it live and increase the budget as much as you like, grow your business. At one point, obviously, like if you want to increase the budget to $200, $300, $400, $500 a day, it will get a bit more complicated because you always need to look at the search volume of the keywords. So if your keywords just have a mid 1,000 a month search volume or whatever, at one point you're going to spend so much that you max it out. So you always have to be on the go creating more keywords if you want to scale, but in general it takes a lot lower maintenance than, for example, Facebook ads, where you constantly just need to come up with new ads and content. So as I said, there are pros and cons to both Facebook and Google. I like the strategy of starting off with Facebook, get your marketing going, get an ROI, take the money that you make from Facebook after you scale Facebook up, obviously, and instead of putting all your eggs in one basket and just scaling up Facebook, add Google as an option, follow this guide or get a company that can do it, and you should be good. And one more thing before we close out the video, that's pretty much really sums up the guide. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you got any feedback. I always appreciate any feedback. If you got questions, you can DM me, you can write it down below in the comments, whatever works best for you, and I'm trying to always answer any questions that you have. Also, if you have ideas for future videos that you would like to see around Google ads or any other ads when it comes to roofing or general contracting, then also let me know. And if you want help with all this, then you can book a call with me personally. First link down below in the description, and we can personally sit down for 60 minutes and just review your business, what you're doing right now, what's working, what's not, and where you're trying to take things. And if I feel like what I'm doing might be able to help, then we can talk about coming up with a strategy. And if not, then that's totally fine. You can just keep watching my free content. I would appreciate if you can subscribe to the channel. And I also just created a newsletter. I think that's the second link in the description. So if you want some more content like this, more exclusive content and material that I send over through this newsletter to your email, just click down below. I just need your name and email, and you're signed up to the newsletter. So yeah, so maybe I'll see you soon, and you have a blessed day.